I'll tell you a story about the kids who refused to be quiet. They went to the forest and got eaten by goblins, the end. Good night. That's what I tell them. Can everyone sit down? We're going to play a couple really fun games that I play at my studio all the time. And while you're finding your seats, I got the question about B Corps. And real quick, I just want to tell you, there's a difference between a benefit corporation and a B corporation. A benefit corporation is a legal entity. If you don't have that kind of legal entity in your state, you can't be one. You don't need to have any revenue to incorporate as a benefit corporation. It's the same structure as an S Corp. The triple bottom line is baked into your articles of incorporation on the onset when you do that. Certified B is you go to bcorporation.net and you take the assessment, you get more than 80 points, and you're a certified B. You can be an LLC or an S Corp or whatever you want and be a certified B. And that's the difference. I can talk to you more about that at the end. Do you want to say something? No. Okay.
For once, I have absolutely nothing to say.
That was funny. All right, so we're going to play some games because games are fun. And I know it's the end of the day, but we're going to do this. So we did this at Apple.
Sorry, I do have something to say. The drinking will start after this. And if you're not drinking, we have delicious mocktails. Okay, I'm done.
Drink up. Okay, so games. This is called Games for Designers and Non-Designers. So these are the things that we use in our studio every day to break down bias and do really good work. And they're fun, and no one knows that they're breaking down bias. It's win-win for everybody. So what I want you to do is do or do not. There is no try. Because you're either all in or you're already at the bar, which sounds really delicious right now. And I want to preface this with, we had a job at the studio where we had to name a building. Have you ever named a building, a really big building in Chicago? It's scary. So not only was this a big building, but this building was going on a site that had housed 7 projects that they tore down very politically 7 or 8 years ago in Chicago and displaced a lot of people. And it's between McCormick Center and Chinatown on the southish side of the city, right across from some other projects. That lot had sat vacant for 7 years, and no one knew what to do with it. So the luxury developer that was working with the nonprofit partner who got funded by the Chicago Housing Authority, the CHA, had to name this building and not piss anyone off. So they realized they couldn't do it because naming is 80% politics and 20% actually naming something. So they hired us to come in and name this building. And I had a room that had the alderman of the neighborhood who gave me the stink eye the whole time, which was really fun, the CHA, the luxury developer, their nonprofit partner, former project residents, and their lawyers to get them to all agree on a name, all agree in the top of a project in a zillion-degree heat on a name for this building, and we did it in an hour and a half. So this stuff works, okay? If you want to get nerdy about it, nerds, this is called design thinking. I know that's what I mean. I know it's like lots of Post-its. You all are going to have Post-its. So what I want everyone to do is you have note cards and you have Post-it notes. Everyone needs like 15-ish postcards, okay? Just pass them, take some, and just take a chunk of them and pass them down. I can't tell you yet. It's not approved. I did the logo, but I can't. Yeah, I know. Well, we agreed on it a year ago, and then it sat in just Never Land for about a year. And now they're like, oh, we need to finish this. And we're like, yeah, you do. So, and it's a really cool development because it's the first mixed housing development where there's subsidized housing and then rental properties and then sellable things. It's a really neat, if this model works, it could be a model for every city and be one of the coolest things that any city does for residents. Okay, everybody got their stuff? So we're going to play 3 games. So I want everyone to get a partner, and Laura's going to be my partner. Okay, everybody get a partner, a buddy, and then like clump up in like 3 teams of 2, so you can have somebody to talk to. So just like get in little clumps, but everybody needs a partner. You have to have a partner for this first game. We don't need those. We're only going to do the first one together. All right, everybody have their partner? Raise your hand if you don't have a partner. Who wants to be her partner? Oh, she's got one. Okay, everybody have a buddy? Okay, stand up. You guys need one? You have a buddy? You need a buddy? You need a post. You need 2 Post-its and a clump of index cards. Yeah, you should probably need something to write on. That's for sure. Write with. You can use my pen if you want, but we're going to use it first. 2. Yeah, per team. Per team. All right. So you guys know who your buddies are? Is this going? Okay. So the first game we're going to play is called 1 + 1 = 1. And Laura and I are going to demonstrate it. So what you're going to do is you and your partner are each going to have a Post-it. Hi, Emily. Hi. Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura. Hi.
Okay, I'm going to think of a word that starts with the first letter of her name. So Laura. Okay. Here's your word. Now you think of a word that starts with E. Stay on there. I know it's late in the day. Now, Laura, you have to try to guess what word's on your head. And I'm going to tell you some clues. So it's a candy that most people don't like.
Is it bigger than a bread box or smaller than a bread box?
Way smaller. You can get it salted in cat shape. It can be black or red. Licorice. All right, now.
Okay, E = mc².
Einstein. That's right. All right, so our words are Einstein, licorice. So our company or philosophical movement is called Einstein Licorice. So we have to figure out what is Einstein Licorice. Real quick, it could be a philosophical movement, a product, a website, a building. What's Einstein Licorice? Quick, let's huddle.
Okay. Here's what I think, or here's what we think.
Yeah. We're so smart and fast.
That literally was like a mind meld that just happened.
We just turned around.
What about a candy company that makes candy that includes some sort of vitamins in it to help kids focus and do better?
Ginkgo biloba. Okay, yeah. So that's Einstein Licorice. So we just came up with a new concept and a new company. That could actually work. Everyone sign a mental NDA. All right, so get with your partner and do that. First letter of their name and have them guess it. I'm going to give you like a minute to do this whole thing. See, now we get to take a break.
Oh, thanks.
That's all I need you for.
Oh,
I know. Just like that.
Okay. And when does my hard stop? 4?
how much time do you think these things are going to take?
I can do it in a half an hour. Okay, and then we can let
Get
everyone
people
go in or
lubed up.
All right, let's filter and like ask people what they've come up with. Did you guess your words? And what else? Okay.
Oh, you did the same.
You guys are amazing. You like did it right away. Okay, now. Okay, if you've guessed each other's words, come up with your app, company, religious movement, new dance craze, whatever you want. All right, you have a few more seconds to get your business off the ground. Dinosaur race car. All right, is everybody done? Oh, really? Okay, then that's easy. No problem. All right. All right, raise your hand if you can hear me. Oh, you guys are good learners. As I tell my kid too, way to listen. They're 5 and 2, so that's one of the things we practice. I know, I don't have a slide with them. Sorry. You can come and look at my phone. That's all them. Okay, so everybody's got their new product, dance craze, religion figured out. You know what you're going to do? Anybody want to volunteer their idea? Okay, I want to hear it. All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so ours is Caffeine Carpet. So basically, it is a coffee shop that you go to. No shoes are allowed. There are no chairs, no tables. You go in, you grab your cup of joe, you have a seat on the floor, Indian style, or for people who like us who can't do crisscross applesauce, and you don't do that. And you just enjoy the environment. They're really plush carpets, so you can feel everything in between your toes, and you chill out while you're also getting caffeinated.
What was it called again?
Caffeine Carpet.
Caffeine carpets. Yes. Who else wants to tell? I'm going to go back here. Who else wants to tell their story? Here. Okay, what's yours?
Ours is Apple Bitchin', and it's basically like Johnny Appleseed for the new millennium. So we make apple butter, apple pie, apple cider, alcoholic and non. So yeah, any apple food products, we make it.
Fantastic. There's a lot of supply chain to think about in there. We're going to get there. That's super cool. I was thinking like Bitchin' Apple, or like you would just have a website where you just complain about Apple products. I could do that. That would be fun. Okay, who else has one they want to talk about? You guys? Here. I'm totally neglecting that side of the room, so I'm going to run over there.
Ours was a Daytime Captain, which was a self-scheduling productivity service to make sure you keep on track during the day, keep on schedule. Daytime Captain.
Captain Morgan for lunch? I've been there. I had some scotch for breakfast before a 4-hour meeting once. That was a fun meeting. Yeah, I know, I'm nuts. All right, you guys want to go too? I'm going to go down there too.
We are beautiful traffic. And if you think about ways, so we're the way to communicate with the other people that are also, an app for communicating with the other people that are traveling alongside you so that you see each other as people instead of the people that are in your way as you're getting where you're going. In 1 minute, y'all, we're launching this. New Foundry, Atomic, we gotta do this. We're gonna make this thing.
We all have to sign NDAs. Okay, any other good business ideas, you guys?
We are Emily and Luke, and we have egg lettuce. You're welcome. It is lettuce that tastes like eggs, and it can be used anywhere you would use eggs or lettuce. Yes.
Amazing.
So excited.
Oh, I hate eggs, but I would eat egg lettuce. Love-hate relationship with eggs. Any other brilliant ideas? Okay, one more, and then we're going to move. Okay.
We're Ellen and Julie, and we're excellent jeans. How you getting them jeans? I mean, we're gonna make tailored, economically priced jeans that fit you and your genetic makeup and your lifestyle and all the things. And lots of slogans and good music.
We could also throw in a laundry service, maybe.
Whoa.
Something.
Sure, yeah, we'll talk about, no.
So I'm a branding person, and your logo has to be a unicorn. Because that doesn't exist. Like jeans that fit you, that don't do this, or this, or this. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, they're awful. But making jeans great again. Yeah. Let's stop with those references, but I love it. So the reason why I usually start when I have a team that I have to get on the same page, and they come to work, and they're thinking about their cat and whether or not they left it in the closet. Actually happened on Tuesday in my office. Or did I lock the back door? Did I blah, 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 did I forget to put deodorant on? Everybody, yes, I did. Did everybody come there ready to do the thing and really get in it 100%? I start with this game because it's fun, it's easy, and it's all about listening to the other person and really connecting one-on-one. You can't use your phone when you play this game. And I love to put phones in phone jail in my studio because we do a lot of collaborative work and phones go in a bin and they go far away and you can't check them all damn day because it is so disruptive and awful as I sat back there all day and checked my phone. Yeah, phones are the worst. This is a super fun game. And we actually play this every summer with a group of kids that are 7 to 12, and we have them name ice cream flavors or come up with ice cream companies. And we tell them we're going to come up with new ice cream companies, so they kind of think in that idea, and they come up with the word. And one of them last year came up with like remote robot ice cream, like 2 R names. And it was one of the coolest things where you had an ice cream container and a remote that you could vary the temperature of your ice cream from wherever you, like your phone. So like some people, like my daughter likes to make soup, but I like it really, really hard and cold. And so depending on your taste, you could control how that, and I was like, somebody has to do that. That was like an 8-year-old that came up with that. So like, this takes you out of your regular day. It gets you into a place ready to go, looking at someone in the eye, usually laughing and having a good time. So this is one of my most favorite games to play in the very beginning. And I do this with entrepreneurs all the time to try to help them see how 2 very, very different things can come together and make something totally new, which is why it's called 1 + 1 = 1. So this is a fun game to take back and play if you're running a team who maybe needs a little bit of fun. So my next game is a really fun game. So my next game is called The Aliens Have Landed. Now, what you're gonna do is, here's the scenario. You have, what was yours again? Egg lettuce. Egg lettuce. Okay, so egg lettuce is this great concept where eggs taste like lettuce and lettuce tastes like eggs, switcheroo. No, everything tastes like eggs. Lettuce tastes like eggs. This is a delicious eggy Eggerson sandwich. So this idea is super brilliant, and you're like, we got to get this off the ground. And guess what? Aliens with buckets of cash just landed out there on the terrace. And they want to fund egg lettuce. They have all this money to give you, and they're like they love eggs so much. The thing is they don't understand spoken language. So what you have to do on your note cards, so everyone should have a few note cards. Make sure you have 8 note cards left over. So use any note cards, but have 8 left over because we need those for the last game. Any questions on that math? Just reserve 8. So what you're going to do is you're going to communicate your idea to the aliens, but you can only use symbols and pictures and images. You can't use any words. So you do this together as a team and explain the concept, why it's important, why should they care, how this makes a community impact, why they should give you money, how much money, whatever you think the aliens want to know, so you can get their hods and hods of cash. But you only have images and symbols to use to communicate with them. Okay? Okay, are you ready? I'm going to give you a little bit more time to do this because this is a little harder. But do it together, and then we're going to have some alien pitches when you're done, all right? I'll give you like 3 or 4 minutes to draw. All right, how's the drawing going? Anybody want to share their drawings? Any budding artists? You don't have to have gone before. You can introduce it. It's okay. I'll see it. Your close neighbors will. Yeah, we can share drawings. You want to share? Okay. First say, tell us your business or dance craze name, explain it, whatever it is, and then explain your drawings. Use your words, but you gotta, but you can talk about what your drawings are so everyone else can sort of see them in their brains, okay? And I'll give you the mic.
Hi, my name's Mo. And this is Michael, right? I got it right. All right. So our idea is Moose Money, and it is a Moose Money, and it is an app for kids so they can work for chores. And the moose actually starts out like kind of a hangman, and as they do chores, it gets an antler and another antler and a thing, and it's run off an app. And your parents will assign you chores, and then they put money in your moose bank, your Moose Money. So here is our first picture, which is an unhappy parent and an unhappy child about money. And then Michael drew this really great moose with money going into its butt or its back or whatever. So then I actually used a word which is really against the rules, but I can't draw. So here's a phone with a moose on it. And yeah. And here is our happy parent with the phone in their hand and a slightly happy child mowing the lawn. Be happy in a second. Well, now here's our moose who has legs and antlers and money in his belly, and our happy kid. And then here's the premise of the kid with the half-built moose. So it's only got this is my sad moose drawing. It has one antler and one leg and no tail and a couple of other things on the phone. And then we got real ambitious, said the aliens were gonna give us all the damn money. So here, that was our drawings.
All right, moose money. I would use that, I think. I like that. I don't pay my kids any do their stuff. They just have to do it. All right, another one. Let's hear about your drawings. That doesn't make any sense. Was this hard for anybody? Yes. Was it really hard to communicate without using words? I wonder why I made you do this. Yes, also that, I know. Logistics.
Hi, I'm Andrea, and this is Steven.
Hi.
And so the name of our company is?
Super Aerial.
And so what we are is we're a high-resolution camera drone company. And so we kept our pitch pretty short for our images. The first one that we did was we drew a drone. And so if you're close, you can see that we have a flying object flying above the ground. And that's the first picture. The second one was actually a camera that resulted in an image so that we could show how the product worked. And then the last one is our request for money so that we can start building. So I literally drew dollar bills with an arrow pointing to a building, meaning that we're ready to build once we have some money. Very good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Super Aerial. Okay, so the reason why we play this game, and we play this game when we build apps. I know it sounds crazy, but we play this game when we build apps because every marketing intro, how this works website has a 1, 2, 3, how does this work? Or it has a series of iconography that sort of leads someone through it. But really what we're looking at is language, especially in tech. I'm in marketing and branding and social impact and nonprofit. There is so much jargon, and I happily live in about 2-mile wide bubble. And when I leave that bubble, a lot of people think I have 3 heads and they don't understand me because I use so much jargon all the time in my work. So what we use images to break down language bias and really try to think about, okay, if someone doesn't know the words that I'm speaking, what are some universal symbols that everyone can understand? And it takes apart language, which has a ton of bias. I mean, does that make sense? It's fun to try to explain a concept in images. I think maybe, how many people in here are parents? I have a little drawing next to my sink that says, like, there's a toothbrush and then a sink with an X mark that's like, don't put nail polish in the sink, and then flush the toilet and wash your hands, because those are like the 4 things I want my kids to do and not do, because they like to put nail polish in the sink, so we had to draw a graphic to remind them to not do it. But it's easier to communicate things, and once you see them all the time, they become part of your iconographic language. Oh, that was a big word that I just made up, maybe. Okay, anybody else want to talk about their image progression? Let's hear it. I want to hear more. I want to hear how you're going to get this alien money.
So we're Ruby Adventures. We offer boutique travel experiences for your resident aliens. We have a picture of a globe with a compass, the middle of which is a ruby, and it's covered by a plane, a boat, and a car to show that we have experiences by air, sea, or land. And we also have a little laptop, tablet, phone to show we're platform agnostic.
Whoa. So wait, this is for the aliens to tour the world. Ooh, I like that. They could probably get that right away. Did anyone actually draw aliens on their cards? Yeah, I did too. You did? Let's have you explain. What was it again? It was something about excellent genes. You pitch it. Let's hear it. Oh, you do have alien drawings. Oh, you have to come see.
Yeah, these jeans could be for aliens or just regular old humans. This was really hard because what does the perfect jean look like? I don't know. So we put a thought bubble to show like the thought of what that alien thought their perfect jean was, and then we put the alien in those jeans. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Potentially ill-fitting jeans that he felt happy in, they, not he, and then, yeah, perfection in those jeans.
That's a happy alien.
It's a happy, yeah. Thanks, Ellen. Ellen's our illustrator.
That's awesome. I like that because you're using the alien's perspective, which is what this is about, kind of, right? All right, anybody else want to talk about their drawings or have just a great business idea they want to pitch? Okay, we've got two. We're going to do two, and then we're going to go to the last game, which is Crazy Eights, which you will either really, really, really hate me for or really, really love me for, and I can't wait to put you into groups.
Funny. So we ran into a roadblock because we were Copperhead Broads. We were an electrical engineering firm, and we decided that, well, we started out all right because we drew us, and we decided we were going to show off our brains so that the aliens knew we were smart. And then we drew a Tesla coil so that they knew that we had electricity, and then we drew snakes. But then we realized that aliens might not have genders. And then we got stuck. So yeah. So that's as far as we got.
That's where you stopped?
That's where we stopped.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes the name doesn't matter as much as what it does matters. So you could just not even worry about it and just talk about your awesome electrical engineering qualities. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that'd be kind of tough, huh? I didn't think about that. Oh. It does. You overthink it. Well, it's funny because the next game we're going to play, you're not allowed to overthink. And the thing is, I'm a dominant extrovert. You might not have guessed that. But I surround myself, and my team is full of systems builders, conscientious people who like to follow through and think through everything. So we just beautifully annoy each other constantly, where I am inventing airplanes, and then they are making them as I'm flying them in the sky. So that's a fun time, but they overthink everything, and I don't think through anything. So together, it's kind of a perfect balance, and that's deliberate. So did you guys have, wait, I had one more. Did you want to go two? Okay, we'll do two more, because this is fun, okay? It's fun.
Okay, so we're apple bitchin'. So we drew a very exciting looking apple and an exclamation point because apple bitchin' to let them know who we are. And then we drew a sampling of our products and very happy people with hearts looking at like, we have the bottle with the triple X's in the traditional alcoholic sign. We have a jug of cider, a pie. We have apple chips. And then we have apple butter and lots of happy people with hearts around them to show that they love this. And then we drew an alien and a bunch of dollar signs to say like, oh, this is currency, like give us money. And I drew us with accurate hair depictions to say give us money. And then I drew this is what we would use the money for, to buy an apple orchard and then to also buy a factory. And I drew us giving money to a factory to show that we would put their money to good use. And that's how.
That's great. I love apple bitchin'. Apple bitchin'. That's awesome. Applesauce is fun to make. If you haven't made it, you should make it. Okay, this is the last one. It better be the best one, by the way.
I make no claims to best. Okay, so we struggled at first, I think, because our words were dinosaur race car, and it was kind of like, what is that? And we eventually got to
a pop-up silent disco, and dinosaur race car is the code word to get into it.
So if you know the code word, and here's our drawing of a dinosaur race car. He's in the number 3 car. So then the story here is there's some people in a park, and they're just standing around, and there's some question marks. They're stick figures. It's a terrible drawing, but they're like, what's going on? And then we've got, here's the same park, but now the clouds are gone and the sun is out and there's a disco ball and the people are wearing headphones and there's music notes and they're happy and they're excited they've made it to the pop-up disco. And so this is
Yeah, so we have the headphone and then the music notes in the person, just in case the aliens were confused as to what was going on. And then this is a blank space because it can happen anywhere. That was the arrow. And because we think they might not understand equal signs. And then people are happy. Yeah.
Come to our disco later. You know the code word.
Dinosaur race car or race car? Dinosaur
race car.
Dinosaur race car. That should be a drink. That's awesome. That was uncomfortable for some people, comfortable for other people? Yeah? Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun game to play. We do it when we are trying to explain a feature, like a new feature for a website or a new feature for a program where we're going to have to communicate this to a lot of different people. And everybody comes to the table with different perspectives and different ideas about what a thing should be. So I have everyone draw what they think it is with pictures and symbols instead of using words, so that we just paste them. It's not 1975, right? We tape them to the wall, and we explain them, and first of all, we just walk around and look at everybody's thoughts and try to find the common symbols. We have a lot of symbols of people who start out the upset parent and then the happy parent. So a lot of these ideas are moving people from a state of distress to a state of happiness, which I think aliens could probably get behind, unless they're mean aliens. But we do that, and we look for the common symbols, the things that everybody has been talking about, and we use those as a baseline to build on the idea. And so the things that we can all agree on is where we start. And using images definitely eliminates language bias, and then we have everyone explain them. One of the games that I didn't put in this talk, which is probably my favorite game, and we should totally do this, but it's really hard to do in a room this size. It's called Ritual of Descent. Have you ever done Ritual of Descent? Okay, so I design brands. I'm a logo designer and a web person. I don't know, I do a lot of things. But so I'll design like 4 or 5 different logos. Like I did this for the teachers union, and what we do is we put them all on the wall. I stand and look at them. My team is behind me, and they rip all of my ideas to shreds. And I am not allowed to say anything and defend anything. And I have to take all the criticism, and I know it sounds awful. And we're a very lovey-dovey group, so this is a really weird. But what we do is we just get used to the idea of finding the faults and finding the holes in ideas so that we can save ourselves from getting up in a room and showing a logo that is maybe way too biased or has a really weird hidden symbol in there, which we have done before, is very embarrassing. So like that ritual of dissent is really good, because what you have to do is you can't defend anything. You have to go in there as the person who just spent 20 hours of their heart and soul designing this beautiful thing that you think is just the best thing, and you have to listen to all the reasons why it's wrong. And after a while, you get used to hearing that, and you start to go in there with a totally different perspective of very much more open-minded, very much willing to hear the criticism and take the feedback and actually make it better, and it always is better once you have a really smart team helping you out and showing. I mean, sometimes they compliment sandwich me, but most of the time they just like to rip me to shreds. So Ritual of Dissent is a fun thing to do too when you have these images. You say like, well, I really like this, but this is all the reasons why this won't work. But you do it in a structured way with a time limit, so it's not just a rip me to shreds fest for the next hour. You know what I mean? So you give them like 5 minutes, and then you're like, okay, can't take any more. Let's go have some pizza. Seriously, it works. Cool, it's a little after 4. This is perfect timing. We're gonna play one more game. It's called Crazy Eights, and it's not the card game that's super fun. This is either your favorite thing or your least favorite thing. Now, I want everyone to get 8 index cards. You gotta have 8, and I'm gonna have to time you. Can I have someone who wants to be my timer? Yes, come up here. Just need your phone or count to 10, really. You just have to count to 10, 16 times. Seriously. Okay. So, it's called Crazy Eights. Did I put a slide? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. This is my most favorite game is my most least favorite game. My least most favorite. It's a thing that I hate that I love to do at the office. So the first game was about listening, making something new from two people who may or may not know each other from different perspectives. The second game is about eliminating language bias and telling a story to someone who's unfamiliar with maybe apps or books or whatever. This game, Ritual Descent, is just taking a lot of criticism in about 10 minutes, and it sucks, but it's also great. This game is about rapid ideation, and I run a design agency, and we're all about rapid ideation. The thing is not everybody is an ideator. So one of my strengths, if you've taken Strength Finder, you know what your top 5 is. Ideation is always one of my top 5. I can come up with a million ideas. This is why I love naming, and I love designing. I can come up with a million ideas to solve a problem. Maybe 1 or 2 is actually good. But no one else on my team is an ideator. But I need their input, and I need their ideas because they are valuable, but they're not their top skill. So I'm trying to develop that over time. So we play this game called Crazy Eights. So the way it works is you get 10 seconds. I want you to think about your idea, your business idea together as a team. I want you to think about all the themes that we've talked about today, about diversity, equity, inclusion, community, social impact. You don't need to think about aliens anymore. They're gone. They funded you, by the way. That was your seed round. Now this is your Series A. So we need to do some serious pitching, okay? So what I want you to do is round out your idea with lots of other implications or ideas. How does this benefit people? Who are you serving with this idea? How does this change the world? What is it in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4? What are all the words associated with? Who's going to care about this and market it? Is this really what it's going to be called? Are there sub-brands? Are there extensions? Is it an app? Is it a book? Is it a dance craze? Is it a philosophical movement? Is it a way to travel the world? I want you to think as widely as you can with this, but I'm only going to give you 10 seconds to do it, and we're going to do it in rapid fire. So Crazy Eights is you're going to have 8 rounds. You're going to ideate on your card, whatever you want to do. You can draw pictures, write words, think about a tagline, a mission statement, whatever. And then I'm going to give you 10 minutes to rest your brain, or 10 seconds to rest your brain. Then you're going to draw an ideate for 10 seconds. Then you're going to rest your brain. Then you're going to draw. Then you're going to rest. And we're going to do that 8 rounds, so 16 times. So each team will come out with 16 ideas. And then you can prioritize or deprioritize them as you wish. But the idea is, if you do this with a room of 10 people, you get 80 ideas in 160 seconds. It's amazing. And you can come up with, when I have to name a building and I have everyone in the room, it takes 2 minutes to do this, and I have 80 options for my name and things that I, with my own limited bias and perspective, would have never come up with. So this is a great idea to turn off self-judgment and to get as much on paper as you possibly can. So you're gonna time. Now, do you get this? No, you don't take turns. No talking. 10 seconds, ideate on a card, and then I'm gonna tell you you're gonna rest for 10 seconds. 10 more seconds, ideate on a card, rest for 10 seconds. You only get 10 seconds for each card, and you do it about your idea. You do not take turns, you go together. So you'll have 16 total at the end for each team. Does that make sense? Any questions? No? All right. Question. Anything. I love it really, in order to make it relevant, think about what you've talked about all day. Diversity, equity, inclusion, community impact, creativity. I think about that all the time. Like, what are the implications of this business? How are you going to make it different and stand out? You know, what are the steps you need to take? Are you ready? Yes. Is that good? On your mark, get set, ideate for 10 seconds. It's going to go faster than I think. Okay, stop. Put the card away. Brain break for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. 10 seconds. And stop. Rest. And go. Stop and rest. Go. Stop and rest. Go. Stop. Gonna rest. How many do you have left? How many cards do you have left? 3? Okay. And go. Thank you for doing this. Stop and rest. And go. Stop and rest. You have one left? Okay. Go. Last one. Thank you so much. This is a silly game. All right, that's it. How did it feel? Was it hard? Who was it easy? Who had an easy time? Oh, well, we have the superstars over there. So talk to them all the rest of the night. I'm sure they get really smart when they're drinking. No, it's good. It's fun to do, especially if you're a decider, which I'm a decider. But I also the pressure, and I start to run out of ideas, and then I start to kind of cloud, and then all of a sudden I have a brilliant idea, like the 7th one. Who didn't have a good time? Didn't have an easy time with this? It was a good time. Okay, I want to hear why. I want to hear how you felt. Just tell me, good or bad.
It was stressful.
Was it stressful? Why was it stressful?
Because of the time.
Because of the time? Did you come up with 8 ideas?
I did not.
Oh, she did not. Well, you can always go back and do it. But the idea is practice takes I said, it's not perfect. It's perfect practice makes perfect, not practice makes perfect. It's perfect practice. So once you do this a few times, you get a little bit more comfortable. So for some people, coming up with rapid ideas, especially under pressure, is the hardest thing you'll ever do. Also, when I look at the typical ways we brainstorm as companies, having everyone like, okay, we're all gonna be really smart right now and all brainstorm a bunch of ideas, that doesn't work for a lot of people, especially introverts, and I have a lot of introverts on my staff. So what I do is I break it up into sessions. We have a 10-minute hyper brainstorm, come up with a million ideas, and then we go to our desks and think about it a little bit more and do it individually, because some people work better alone and some people work better in a group. So I try to be really inclusive with different people's learning styles. Did you want to say something?
Just the one thing, like when you first asked us to do just pictures, I'm like, God, this sucks. I am a word person. But having the ability to do both, like when I got stuck, it was helpful to be able to just scratch a picture out real quick.
Yeah, right?
So having both of them was...
Both of them, yeah, it is. But, you know, you can really do whatever you want. Some people make little models out of their paper. Somebody draw pictures. Some people write words. Some people write out all the directions for how the thing is going to work. It's really fun to do. Some people do them in order, like steps of a system. Anybody else want to comment on how that felt? Okay. I'm going to get down there if you guys want to talk.
Ideation isn't normally a problem for me, but I found that as with the rapid fire, I was very fixated on my initial ideas. And I know that I do better when there are other people's perspectives on it. So I had a hard time with 7 and 8 because I had fully explored my initial direction and was almost stuck there. So
That's awesome. That should happen, actually. So what you would do then, what we will do, is get in your team and talk about your ideas. If you didn't get all 8 and something comes to you, fill up the note cards with other ideas. Because the second step of this game is to share your thoughts with each other. And usually, if you're sitting there alone, depending on your own brain to come up with a lot of ideas in rapid succession in a small amount of time, that's really hard to do. But once you start to share that experience with your partner, other things come out of that, and you'll see commonalities, and you'll come up with new ideas. So you should be able to fill out your cards after you talk to each other. So if anybody, I'm going to get you. Does anybody else want to talk? Talk. We have 3 talkers, and then we're going to talk to your partners about your things, and then we're going to come up and pitch our ideas.
I'm mostly curious why you do 10 seconds thinking and then 10 seconds rest. And that actually, for me, the 10 seconds rest was the struggle, was like turning my brain off. And so I was wondering like kind of why.
Because it's flexing a muscle that you usually don't use. Because it's just a way to stop, give yourself a moment to think. Some people need a minute to collect themselves. Some people, it's really, really hard to do. When I first started meditating, I could barely sit still, and now I can do it for hours without moving or even thinking about where the time is. So it's just a way to kind of use your brain in a way that you typically don't use it. So that's why I do it that way. And it's really stressful, but when we do it over time, it becomes a fun game, and some of the craziest, best ideas come out of this game. And I'm telling you, like, it's my least favorite game to play because it is high stress. 2 others? Did you want to say? She's okay. You're just stretching. You had your hand up.
For me, the struggle was in setting the parameters of the design space. It was like I had some ideas for slogans, and then I wanted to switch off of slogans, but then I had trouble figuring out how far to switch off of slogans, and I knew that the next 3 things I wrote were going to be pretty much trash, but they would be funny.
That's fine. That's okay. That's all about switching off your self-judgment. So you can just spend, we do this too when we're naming or when we're coming up with slogans. So you might have 7 just total shit slogans and then 1 gem, and the 1 gem is the 8th one. And then maybe 3 other people came up with the same one, and you're like, well, that's the obvious winner. So we're done, and we don't have to think about this for 3 more days. You know what I mean? So that's actually a good outcome of this exercise. It's really these are just ways to try to use your brain in different ways to think about things differently and turn on and off different parts of your bias. Yeah, 1 more, and then we're going to pitch our ideas. All right, who wanted to talk? Oh, you do want to talk.
I do. So I actually was frustrated initially because I didn't like our first idea. And I was really bummed that I had to write about it. But in this process, I was like, oh, screw that initial idea. I've got a better one. And I'm pretty sure that because of this, I will finish my dissertation.
Really? Oh! Good night, Detroit! I'm out! That's amazing! My God. Goosebumps. Woo. That's amazing. That's the other thing. There aren't any real rules. You don't have to listen to me just because I have a microphone. You know, I mean, that's kind of dangerous to give me one. I'll talk all day. But seriously, it's about training your brain to move in a different way than you're used to. My team makes me do the most asinine models. My partner made me do do you ever done an ikigai? Okay, it's this insane Venn diagram that's supposed to get to your life's purpose. And I was like, Demetrio, kill me. I don't want to do this. This sucks. And I had him walk me through the steps because he's the best facilitator I've ever met in my life. And he did this with me 3 months ago, and it was this really uncomfortable process. I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I already know. I have a poster on my wall that says, I have a strategic plan. It's called doing things. I don't want to think about everything all day long. I just want to get shit done. So he made me do this ikigai, and it got down to it, with all the work that I've been doing for the last 14 years, the truth that it revealed, and I was like, whatever, is that I have to start a school for social enterprise for junior high students. Because every time I do mentoring, I get younger and younger trying to catch them younger and younger. And then lo and behold, I go to California in June, and I'm sitting there thinking, we have all these social enterprise entrepreneurs trying to figure out how to do this. We're all going to business class and listening to each other. There's no roadmap on how to do it. I've been doing it for 14 years. I know how to do it. I'm going to teach everyone how to do it. I've already written 2 books on it. I'm going to write 8 more. And then I'm going to start a school about social entrepreneurship. And then in the summers, I'm going to run a summer camp for junior high students and high school students to get them before they enter college and high school so that we don't pollute them with a bunch of garbage by the time we get there. So that was, an outcome, too, of these silly processes that feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, I guess you're right, Demetrio. So anyway, I would love to hear some final pitches. We have a few more minutes, and then I think we're going to have everybody come up and do a Q&A. Yeah? No? Just a little bit different idea? But I do want to hear who hasn't shared their idea? Raise your hand. The introverts. Oh yeah, that's right. Talk to each other about your ideas. Thanks, Emily. I need a boss. You want to be my boss? Awesome. Okay, take like 3 minutes, talk about your ideas. If you don't have 16 cards, fill up with other ideas. And then I want somebody to come up and pitch. I want to hear about your dissertation, and we'll do a couple rounds of that. All right, are you guys wrapping up sharing your ideas? Yes? All right. Raise your hand if you can hear me. Record time, yes. Okay, who wants to come up and explain and pitch their new idea? 1, 2, 3. 3, 4. Anybody else? 5. Okay, group number 1, come on up here, take the mic, and explain your idea. And then 2 can come over here and be on deck. Oh, hey, double mics. All right, thanks. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do this, and then let's hear what you got.
All right, this is Graham Huckel, my co-founder, and my name is Alexandra Sarkozy, and our company is Albuquerque Grape, the greatest grape soda ever. And the reason it's awesome, well, we have 16 reasons that it's awesome. It's awesome because the grapes are environmentally friendly grapes. They are not from Albuquerque, by the way, and they are also grown using fair labor practices.
Oh, wasn't prepared to go through these in order. Mine generally had one unifying theme, and that's what grapes might not grow in Albuquerque. So they're like an impossible entity, and so they might be impossibly good and impossibly sustainable. And so the idea of being impossibly was sort of feeding into Alexandra's ideas.
Albuquerque is a state of mind, not a kind of grape. So our soda is also sugar and corn syrup free. It's entirely naturally flavored, so it doesn't contribute to health problems.
Those are all mine.
All right, this is pretty much the only thing I'm good at, I think. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I had one. It could be a desert, like an emergency ration in the desert.
Albuquerque grape.
Like Tang.
Like Tang,
yeah.
Exactly. And I thought, well, maybe we could have some Albuquerque grape that you can make at home, and that way you wouldn't have container waste. And then I started thinking about possibly compostable containers. And then I was thinking about compost, and I thought, well, maybe people could use the compost to grow their own grapes at home. So we could have like special grapes that people could purchase. And then we thought, well, if people are going to be doing this at home, maybe they want to make their own bottle labels and logos and things like that also. So we could have a website component where they could do a little bit of drag and drop design or do whatever they want and print them out and put them on their home bottles. And then I thought, well, when I was little, I was really into like big boy clubs and like Big Boy magazine and like joining those clubs at the back of kids magazines. And I thought, well, we could have an Albuquerque Grape Club and people could get together and network in the whole Albuquerque Grape. So and then I thought, well, people could save bottle caps and they could have points. And the points could go to a local charity as they collect points. And that's how we would donate our Albuquerque Grape bottle cap dollars. And that was about it.
That sounds great.
Awesome, right?
Hey, Albuquerque Grape.
Yeah.
I'll give you another quick little game. So there's a lot one of the best and worst things about these games is you come up with a lot of ideas, and you can't execute 16 ideas. Usually you can execute 2. So what I do is I give everyone like 4 Post-it notes, and I say each Post-it note's worth $100. We have 16 ideas on the board. I want you to put your money on the idea that you think is the best idea, the best thing that will reach our business goals, our community goals, our people goals, our profit goals, our planet goals. And I have everyone vote. And so usually there's some kind of consensus on what are the things we're actually going to execute on at the end. And getting people to think in terms of money is just kind of slightly uncomfortable, but then also brings it back to the business purpose, which I like. So we do that a lot to narrow our ideas down. And then, of course, test them before we spend millions of dollars building something that no one needs. So that's fun. All right, guys, you want to go?
Sure. We
All
did
right.
not narrow whole down.
You
at
don't
all.
need to. That's a
Okay.
whole separate day.
So I'm Emily. This is Rachel.
Rachel.
And we have a vegan restaurant that is called Emerald Rabbit. And we've built out this whole concept around trying to think about what Lauren talked about in her presentation about adding and not replacing. So going to a neighborhood that doesn't have opportunities like this, restaurants like this, and making sure our space is being used at all times. So for example, it has a rooftop where you can have yoga and events. And when the restaurant's not being used, the cafe is not being used, then it is an event space, or we're teaching nutritional classes. What else did we talk about?
Cooking demos, nutritional information for kids.
Oh yeah, there's yoga on the roof deck too. Everything is sourced locally, but not $12. We have not figured out the economics yet, but we will. One idea is trying to repurpose leftovers at the end of the night so things don't get thrown away, so extra produce gets frozen and that can go in smoothies, which can keep the cost of the smoothies down. I would like purple plates. That was really important to me.
Oh, we talked about doing like art walls or living walls or getting the community involved, things like that.
And lastly, we almost went with a sex toy, so you're all very lucky that we went with a restaurant instead.
Oh, the Emerald Rabbit. That sounds like fun. Thank you, guys. Thank you, nerds. So one of the other cool things is when you're doing this rapid ideation, it does take you out of that initial core goal, which is what happened here, which is really cool. I really like that.
Okay,
It's a
so
lot of work.
we're gonna not make anybody sign non-disclosure. Anybody who wants this idea can fully take it sincerely because we actually think it's actually pretty good. So we are Chelsea and Bridget, and we created the Bumblebee channel. So we decided that the Bumblebee channel was going to be an environmental channel, kids channel to teach kids about global warming and about the bumblebee and about all things environmental. So my only slogan was create a buzz, which is really stupid. So we need to come up with a better one. So we'll leave that to you guys. We want to do global programming, kind of Sesame Street-ish, but in an international way.
We talked about connecting scientists with children and having action steps after videos for kids to go out in nature and actually perform actions.
I already said that. We literally had like duplicatable cards. Having different platforms, not just the YouTube channel or whatever, but also maybe having workbooks and maybe an app and things on TV. And then the marketing would be done in typical ways through schools and through TV commercials and YouTube.
And then inspired by bamboo, we would use sustainable technology and kind of use vertical, environmentally friendly things throughout the entire business.
Okay. So feel free to steal.
Cool. Is that it? Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. Awesome. Thank you.
We literally half of our
That's
cards
a great
were
idea.
identical.
Are we? We're wrapping. We're all done with our pitches. We're good. Laura, we're done. Zip. Okay. Thank you all so much for playing along. If you want more information on these games, I talk about them all the time in our blog at limeredstudio.com, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just email me or call me or whatever. But thank you so much, Lauren, for having me, and thank you all for staying and participating.